The Intern Who Stole and Stayed to Repay. Episode 2, The Weight of Staying. My name is Sir Nicholas Bassa. Let's continue with this story. Elijah Turner didn't quit. He wanted to. Every morning for the next 2 weeks, he rehearsed his resignation in the mirror, but every time he saw that sticky note, something in him stopped. Leave better than you came. That line had started to mean something different now. The office felt quieter since the incident. No one mentioned the missing funds. Ms. Daniels had kept her word. She didn't fire him. She just said, "Stay. Let's see what staying can do." Still, whispers carried like perfume. And guilt had a scent too. Every click of a keyboard felt like an accusation. Every laugh from the break room sounded like it had his name hidden inside. But Eli showed up. Every day. He could have walked away. But sometimes, redemption begins the moment you choose to stay where you failed. The days blurred into one another until a Monday morning brought something new, or rather someone. Her name was Lisa Kim, the new junior copywriter. 26, soft-spoken, bright eyes that noticed things most people missed. She joined the firm as part of a campaign restructure and was placed on the same team as Eli. When she introduced herself, Eli barely looked up. "Hey, I'm Eli," he muttered, sliding a folder toward her. She smiled anyway, the kind of smile that didn't need reciprocation to exist. Lisa worked quietly, but efficiently. She didn't ask questions about Eli's past, though she must have heard the gossip. Instead, she simply treated him like a person. One afternoon, while reviewing ad scripts together, she said softly, "You have a good eye for honesty. Most people write what sells. You write what's real." Eli froze. He hadn't realized anyone noticed. That evening, as the others clocked out, Lisa packed her things beside him. "You heading home?" she asked. He shook his head. "Not yet. Still catching up." She nodded, hesitated, then offered, "I'm grabbing dinner next door if you need a break. You look like you could use one." He almost said no. But the truth was, he couldn't remember the last time someone invited him anywhere without a reason. The diner smelled like coffee and late nights. A muted TV played a local news story in the corner. Lisa stirred her drink. "So, how long have you been with the company?" Eli chuckled quietly. "Long enough to learn what not to do." She tilted her head, curious. "That sounds like a story." He smiled faintly. "Maybe one for another time." She didn't push. That, he appreciated. When they left, the streetlights flickered against the glass buildings. Something about the city at night, bright lights above, deep darkness below, reminded him that even broken things can reflect light. He thought redemption meant being forgiven. But sometimes, it means learning to forgive yourself. If you've ever tried to fix what you broke, this story is for you. Subscribe for more real redemption stories. The next few weeks changed quietly. Ms. Daniels noticed. Eli arrived early, double-checked reports, volunteered to train new interns. The whispers began to fade. Respect has a way of making noise disappear. Then one Thursday morning, Ms. Daniels called him into her office. Not with anger this time, but with trust. "I'm putting you on a new project," she said. "It's a big client, and I want you to co-lead with Lisa." Eli's eyes widened. "Me?" She nodded. "You stayed. Now prove why that mattered." For a second, he couldn't speak. Gratitude pressed against his ribs, heavy and real. That night, Eli stayed late again, but this time, not because he had to. Lisa sat across the desk, sketching taglines. The white office lights glowed softly above them, cutting through the dark outside the windows. "Why do you care so much?" she asked. "You could have just done the bare minimum until your internship ended." He paused. "Because I already took something once. Now I want to give back more than I took." Lisa smiled gently. "That's rare." He looked at her, really looked this time. So is kindness. 2 weeks later, the campaign launched. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't even the firm's biggest client. But it was the first project Eli had worked on without guilt sitting on his shoulder. The tagline they'd chosen, "Start again, but better," wasn't just a pitch. It was his life in 5 words. When the numbers came in, the client was thrilled. Ms. Daniels called for a small team meeting. She stood at the front of the room, eyes scanning everyone, then landed on Eli. "Redemption doesn't come easy," she said. "But when it does, it changes more than results. It changes people. And this campaign proves that." Everyone clapped. Eli tried to hide his emotion, but Lisa caught the shimmer in his eyes. After the meeting, Ms. Daniels stopped him by the door. "Eli," she said quietly, "I meant what I said that day. Staying was your best decision." He nodded, voice low. "Thank you for letting me." Sometimes, the second chance you're given isn't to erase the past, but to rewrite who you become next. Hit subscribe if you believe everyone deserves one more chance. Friday evening, the office was almost empty again. Eli sat at his desk, this time not staring at numbers, but at a printed copy of the campaign design. Lisa walked by, holding 2 cups of coffee. She placed one beside him. "You earned this," she said with a grin. He chuckled. "Feels like the first time I didn't have to pretend I belonged here." She leaned against the desk. "Maybe because you finally do." They talked a while, about work, about life, about the weight of wanting to do better. It wasn't romantic. It was real. 2 people learning that grace doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes, it just sits beside you quietly with a cup of coffee. Later that night, as he prepared to leave, Eli noticed something pinned to the wall near his desk. It was another sticky note, this one not written by him. In neat handwriting, it read, "You're not your mistake. LK." He smiled. The note wasn't just encouragement. It was acknowledgement. For the first time, the office lights didn't feel harsh. They felt like sunrise, bright, clean, full of new chances. He stayed, and it changed him. But redemption doesn't end with forgiveness. It begins when the past comes knocking again. Episode 3 drops this Friday, and trust me, you'll want to see who walks back into Eli's life next.